Alright, it was a tough decision, but I have pulled out what I feel is the nuts and bolts of the vast library of Nintendo games. Again, this is a mere fraction of, again, of the entire library. Now, it was one of my first complete sets. When I say complete, I at least had a cart version of at least a variant of every released licensed game. But I just wanted to show you kind of a nuts and bolts. If you were to start collecting Nintendo games, what would be a good hybrid? What would be good to show to good plays, good oddities, and holy grails? So I'm going to start right up with, it's safe to say that Nintendo made some of Nintendo's greatest games. Super Mario 3, hands down, what I feel is one of the best games on the system. Fairly inexpensive. This box came from the bundle set, which I don't have, but I have the game. Just amazing, amazing platform game. Obviously Zelda, just revolutionary for the time. You gotta love that gold cart. Just a classic on its own. Metroid, one of my all-time favorites and one of my first games to actually play as a kid. And a big shout out goes to ice hockey, because this is a good example of a game that you can get probably under $3. Great two-player game and tremendous amount of fun. But Nintendo wasn't the only ones to make great games. There were several awesome companies to make wonderful games for Nintendo. Konami, obviously with their classic Castlevania, just an again, I'm kind of a fan of the platformers. Just an excellent game. It would be wrong for me not to mention one of the Mega Mans. Mega Man 2 is my favorite. I never did beat it. Got to the end, never could beat it, but still love it. I can't forget sports games. A lot of people overlook these, but Tecmo Super Bowl, just an amazing classic. I was late to many first period classes in middle school because of this game. Love it. And obviously on road trips when I played baseball as a kid, Baseball Stars, to edit and create your own leagues and teams is just amazing. So I got to do a shout out to that. But some of these games are not necessarily too expensive, but I know there's a lot of people watching this video as collectors. There's just a tremendous of third-party games on the system. One of the more uncommon ones, Chiller. Again, kind of a grotesque game. Obviously, low print run, and you gotta do a shout out to the Bible games. This is one of the more common ones, King of Kings, but. Then, obviously, Color Dreams obviously made this, and it's King Neptune's Adventure. This is the contest version, which they had this contest. You could win cash. Again, pretty hard to get. One of the more uncommon light gun games is a third-party game, Baby Boomer. That's a uncommon one to get. And then, obviously, the Action 52, which is terrible in its own right, and Caltron 6-in-1, which there's a label variant, the Myriad, and that's much harder to get. You also had the Aladdin Deck Enhancer, which was these little games that stuck into this enhancer, and you'd stick into the system. Was supposed to enhance the graphics. Woohoo. And then Tengen made several. Mr. Mihara signed this for me, obviously, of Tetris fame. but obviously Tengen Tetris is pretty hard to get. But all those don't really compare to some of these ones. A box stack up with all the parts, pretty hard to get. Obviously, the limited released Cheetahmen II, technically unreleased, and then a bunch of were found in a warehouse supposedly. Mine's sealed. Definite. Hard to get. And then some of these were just released really late. Taito made several late releases. Bubble Bobble Part 2, which is a lot of fun to play. Really late release. Hard to get complete. Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. Again, really late release. There was actually 2 Flintstones games on the system. This is the harder one to get. And you can't complete Holy Grails without showing Stadium Events. And this is the USA version. And quite hard to get, obviously. Box, that's a whole other story. Complete, near impossible. But that's kind of an overview. The library consisted of many great first-party games with strong third-party support, and then there was a bunch of third-party, unofficial, unlicensed games that had different shells, and a lot of stuff in between. But hopefully that's a great overview, and I hope it helps you decide what games you want to collect for the system.